Now we know what is communication, we know the modes of communication, and we also have understood why we communicate. There are certain examples that we have understood why we communicate. Now time comes to communicate, right? How should my communication be? I need to communicate effectively. Okay. What is the purpose of communication? To transfer the message. I mean, what message? How? Transfer a clear message. And why is this done? So that the receiver understands this and replies. Okay. Let's say I have asked a glass of water. Now, the person whom I have asked for water should also understand this message in the same term. Agreed? Then only my communication is said to be effective or complete. When the receiver of the message has understood the message in the same sense as intended by the sender of the message, then such a communication is called an effective communication. It's very clear from this picture. He is the sender of the message. What he is sending is tree, and the receiver of the message is also understanding it as tree or receiving it as tree. Here it is codifying and decodifying. That is nothing but sending the message, and when the message is received, understanding, he understands it also in the same manner. So if my communication is successful, I am happy. Happy doesn't mean I start dancing and jumping for a glass of water, of course, but happy in the sense that yes, my purpose is solved. I had thought of something which has come true. So that gives me satisfaction. But what happens when I said something else, but the result is something else, something different from what I had thought? Let's say I asked for paper. Please pass on a paper. Okay. Now, here I had asked for a paper to note down certain things. But what the receiver has understood is he gets me a newspaper, because he understood that I need a paper means I need a paper to read. Okay. So, here there is miscommunication. My communication has gone wrong. Now, when a communication goes wrong, what is the reaction? How do we feel? Happy? No. Then we feel angry. What have you got me? I asked you for a paper. I mean, the receiver is like, what? You asked for a paper, I have got the paper. But I had thought of a paper to write, and he had decoded a paper to read. That's a newspaper. Now, what will start? I'll start getting frustrated. I'll start getting angry, furious, and the receiver will start justifying. No, you said this. I did the right thing. Now, such communication leads to misunderstandings, leads to fights, leads to anger, and many more things. And as a result, whatever I wanted to achieve, like in this case, I needed a simple paper to write, which is not achieved. Okay, the main purpose, the main message of my communication still lies beneath. To avoid misunderstandings and further fights, what I need to do is I need to communicate clearly. So now in this case, when I need a paper, I should have clearly said, pass me a paper to note down the address. So what I am doing is I am giving a clear message that I need a paper to note down the address. So in that case, the receiver should definitely get me a paper and a pen to write, right? Because he has also understood that if I'm asking a paper, I would of course need a writing paper, or he may get me a book, a writing pad, but something to write on. Well, my purpose is solved. So, can we say that effective communication is the ability to speak plus the ability to listen, right? Without, see, always understand one thing is, remember this thing, communication is a two-way process. There are two parties to communication, the one who's sending the message and the one who's receiving the message. So both have to be clear, both have to do their work perfectly. The sender has to send it clearly and the receiver has to understand it in the right manner. So communication is effective, my message, whatever I wanted to pass on, is achieved when the parties to communication have the ability to speak as well as ability to listen. As a result, I get is effective communication. Now, there could be many reasons for which I am not able to achieve this effective communication, or my communication is not successful and it's a failure. It's a not proper or effective communication. Reasons could be many, and such reasons are called as barriers to effective communication.